As we mark Jewish American Heritage Month, we want to tell you about a young man from Philadelphia who is making history as possibly the first ever observant Orthodox Jew to make a Division I football roster. Sam Salz's journey to college football is unconventional, to say the least. He attended a yeshiva high school and had never played organized football. Then in the spring of 2021, at 5'6", 160 pounds, the college freshman knew it was an improbable mission, but he had a plan. He worked really hard, and now he is a member of the Texas A&M's Division I football team. And Sam Salz joins us now to tell us how this impossible dream became a reality. Sam, it is such an honor to have you here with us. And so let's start from the beginning of your college career, right? You're this kid on campus at Texas A&M, a Division I school in the SEC, for goodness sakes. You've never played a day of football in your life, not Pee Wee, not high school. Where did the idea come from? When did it spark that you're going to play football for the Aggies?
Yeah, so I will say that when I was a kid, something told me I had to play college football. And I talk a lot about this when I do public speaking engagements. So something had told me that I had to do it. And I later understood that that was placed there intentionally. You know, I'm a big believer. I'm a big man of faith. And I believe that everything that you have, everything that you think comes from God. And I began to understand, upon coming to college and going to my first football game, that there was something greater that I could do with the game of football. And that's pretty much where it came from.
That's beautiful. I know that you started training on your own right at the field there when the football team was practicing. That can be extremely intimidating. So how did that go? What happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So there had been a whole process. And upon getting a chance to actually watch the tryout, I actually went to the field that was right outside of the tryout because I had noticed it walking out. And I realized, you know what, I'm going to train here. And that changed everything. I started to go there during different times of the day, and I ended up figuring out when exactly the team would train. So in my mind, I always believed that I was on the team. I was just training on the other side of the fence. And when I figured out exactly when they trained, I would show up before and leave after.
The other side of the fence, and sometimes that can feel so far away, though, right? I know you're an Orthodox Jew who's observant, so you can't play in any games from Friday night at sundown to sundown on Saturday night. We also know a majority of college football games are on Saturdays. So how does that work logistically?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was looking into this dream, right, before I had made anything, I looked into the schedules of the years since we had joined the SEC. And I looked at the average, or rather, I calculated the average amount of games that would have been at a time that is at least friendly to Shabbat. So at least part of the game is after Shabbat, or most of the game is after Shabbat. And I noticed that since we joined the SEC, out of about 13 games, because I'm counting the bowl game in that schedule, we would have an average of 6.5 games that were played after Shabbat or after the Sabbath. Then if you went to the maximum, in some seasons there were 10. On the low end was actually this past season, we had 3. So that's how I thought about it. But I knew that, there would be some games, most of them tend to be the primetime ones, that are played after Sabbath. And for me, it was never a contradiction because my whole goal in going after this was to inspire people to show Jewish kids that they don't have to give up on their values to become successful. That a lot of times in this world, we're taught that, oh, you have to give something up to become successful. I want to show that that's not the case, that you can hold true to your values and you can be successful upon my other goals, which were obviously inspiring people to make the most out of life.
That's a wonderful message. Your number's 39. Tell us why and what motivates you there.
Yeah, so 39 is very, very special to me because 39 is actually representative of the 39 categories of actions that cannot be done on the Sabbath. And they come from the 5 books of Moses when we look at where work is mentioned. So because work is prohibited on the Sabbath, work was, I believe, used as well in the context of building the tabernacle. There are 39 categories of actions that are prohibited on the Sabbath. And because I wanted to make it known that I was a practicing Jew who does not play on Sabbath, I believe that 39 was the perfect choice.
I have to tell you, my dad is a football coach. It makes me a little emotional, actually. And it's his favorite sport because he truly believes that there's a place on the football team for every kind of athlete. And you are living his truth. It was such a pleasure to talk with you.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me.
Of course.